אוקיי. שלום לכולם, אנחנו נחכה עוד דקה-שתיים שיצטרפו אלינו אחרים, ואנחנו נתחיל את הוובינר. עוד איזה חצי דקה אנחנו נתחבר. Okay, hi everyone. We are here in the session of about Hornet security, about all the security that's related to email. We have here a Hornet representative. They will present themselves, and we will start we'll start the webinar. Sorry, please, Mariette.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marie Tarrington. I am one of the partner account managers at Hornet. I actually work out of the UK. I cover one of the geographical areas in the UK, but I also have responsibility for what we kindly call the rest of the world, which is anything outside of a managed territory for us. So that's anything outside of something like Northern Europe, the Americas, Iberia. So I'm responsible for the Israeli market as well. I've got Tom on the call with me, and Tom is my technical colleague. I should also say that I am a salesperson. So as I said earlier, I have no technical experience, which is why Tom is here. So please don't ask me technical questions. I can cover any sales questions, but Tom is your man for technical. I'm going to do a very quick overview of Hornet Security, who we are, where we've come from, and then I will hand over to Tom and he will do the live demo of the product. So just share my screen. So I'm hoping everybody can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fabulous.
See clearly.
So let me just minimize that. Technical issues. Bear with me. Sorry, thought this was going to work. We did practice this before as well, and it's still not working. So apologies. You check if you can see that. Okay, sorry. See, I needed the technical person to help me. Thank you, Tom. So we were founded in 2007 in Germany. We are still a privately owned company. Grown quite a lot since inception, and I think it's important to note that a lot of our growth has been through acquisition as well as natural growth. I think if you look at this, you can see that we have acquired pretty much continuously over the last 4 to 5 years. So in 2020, we acquired EveryCloud. 2021 was the acquisition of Altara, which is our backup product, and I will talk a bit more about that later on. 2022, we acquired IT Seal, which is where our security awareness products come from. And last year, we finalized an acquisition of a French company called which is API-based filtering system. And Tom can talk more about that as well, if anybody would like to hear more about it. So just some numbers for you. these all together. So 700 employees across 17 offices, 17 different countries. And we've got 12 data centers. So usually there is a very local data center, and there is a map in a second that I can show you all. We have 125,000 customers in 120 countries. We offer 17 different services to our partners. So here we go. There are, so our data centers, as you can see, are in blue, with local offices, be that sales or technical offices, in pink, red. So yeah, what we found is people like to have a local data center that they can back up to. So I guess for the Israeli market, the EU data center is probably key to you. So very briefly, because I will let Tom talk mostly about it. Our plans are split into 4 different plans, ranging from 1 to 4. And plan 1 is our basic entry-level spam and malware protection, email encryption, and email signatures and disclaimers. We pride ourselves on it being fast and easy to onboard, because we appreciate that time is money for our MSP customers, and the quicker that they can get this implemented, the better for them. Spam and malware, obviously self-explanatory, as is email encryption. Email signatures we have found to be useful, particularly for marketing departments and for centralizing signatures and disclaimers across a particular company. Plan 2 includes everything within plan 1, and also includes our advanced threat protection, which offers more protection against more sophisticated attacks. So you get real-time alerts to the IT security team right when the attacks happen. It includes targeted fraud forensic filters. And then it also includes email archiving, which automatically archives all emails, and then email continuity, which effectively, it's effective protection against system failures, and it automatically activates email continuity. Like I said, I'm not going to go into technical on these because I'm going to leave that to Tom. He will do a demo of it as well. Plan 3 includes plan 1, plan 2, and then, as I mentioned earlier, what was our Altaro acquisition. So that includes the backup, M365 backup, and that includes 365 mailboxes, Teams chats, planners, OneNote, OneDrive, and SharePoint. Yeah, more detail available if anybody would like it. And then plan 4, which I know is what we really are here to talk about today, includes plan 1 to 3, and then our security awareness product, our permission manager product, DMARC manager, and AI recipient validation. And I'm going to let Tom go into more detail, if that's okay, because he is going to do a demo of permission manager. So if I stop sharing, Tom, do you want to take over?
Okay, thanks, Mairead. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining the webinar today. I want to start by just taking you through some of the aspects of our filtering in terms of the email security, and then we'll have a look at the portal, the products, and as Mairead said, I'll give you a demonstration of one of our Plan 4 products, the 365 Permission Manager. So firstly, though, just to talk around our filtering, when it comes to our spam and malware detection, we have the highest detection rates on the market with 99.9% spam detection and 99.99% virus detection. With that as well, you have a lot of flexibility. We have our compliance filter, which allow you to create rules, which means that you can create very bespoke filtering. And we also do the outbound filtering as well. So all of your inbound and outbound mails are secure and protected. We also have our advanced threat protection, which you can see in plan 2 and above. So this adds some extra functionality to the standard filtering. So you have your AI-based targeted fraud forensics, which guards against spoofing attacks. So you can apply that filter to your high-level staff, and then any attempt to spoof those will be caught by the filter. We also decrypt malicious documents and scan them. We give you real-time alerts of any malicious attacks that we find. We give you comprehensive analysis through our sandbox, which we'll see in a moment through our scanning ability. We also analyze QR codes and links as well within emails. So our advanced threat protection engine uses a lot of different tools. I won't go into these in detail, but these are the kind of things that we have behind the scenes. So static analysis, 0-hour detection, and then of course on the right-hand side we have our monitoring and security alerts to keep you up to date with what's happening as well. As I mentioned, we're scanning QR codes as well. So in the same way that you would scan links in the emails, we can scan QR codes embedded in images. This is a new attack vector that needs to be covered. And so we do that with our advanced threat protection as well. And the secure links as well. So we use a smart pattern analysis, machine learning algorithms, and deep learning to scan the links and make sure that nothing malicious does make its way into an email. We scan the links in real time so that nobody can send an email and then put something malicious behind a benign link after the fact. So this just makes sure that those links stay secure. We also have encryption options. So if you are managing encryption, you can manage the certificate encryption to us. So you can use SMIME and PGP encryption. But we also have a more kind of small to medium friendly option called WebSafe, which is our encryption portal, which you can use to send and receive encrypted messages without the need for certificates as well. And we have a continuity service, which Mairead mentioned. So this means that if 365 is down for any reason, you can fall back to us, keep your mail flow running through us, and then as soon as 365 is available again, we can automatically fill everything back in, and you can just maintain that continuity even if 365 does have an issue. So that's a bit of a background on our security. So I want to jump into the portal now and show you how that looks. So this is our portal. This is where you can manage all of your different products and services. For the MSPs among you, this is how you can manage all of your customer base as well. So you have your top partner level, and then your customers will sit in the list, and then you can drill down to the customers to start to manage their services. When it comes to onboarding, it's a really simple process. So we have a wizard that you can use, and so all you do is select the package that you're going to go for. So this is the process from a partner's point of view, but for an end customer, it's the same process where you select your option, fill in the details. You'll then be asked to log into 365 to accept some permissions, which then allows us to create an API sync between the 365 tenant and the control panel. So once you're synchronized, the process is really quick, takes about 5 minutes. Once you're in, you'll be able to see your number of mailboxes is synced across, your license count from the tenant, and your domains as well. And you'll then have the option to use the onboarding wizard to go ahead and onboard the various services in here as well. So when it comes to the mail filtering, we're a secure email gateway. So that means you'll be adding our MX records to the DNS to route the mail through to us. We can then scan it and analyze it and pass anything clean onto 365, and everything else you can hold in quarantine. So once you've configured your routing, in your email live tracking, you'll see your inbound and outbound mail flow. So this is everything in and out from the domain. You can see that the mail logs are color-coded. So the color codes correspond to different mail types. You can see up here we have the clean mail, which is delivered straight to 365, and then everything else which you could potentially quarantine depending on your settings. This is also your archive as well. So if you activate the archiving feature, all of these emails will have an archive copy against them, and then we retain those for the default maximum retention on the archive, which is 10 years. And we don't charge any extra for the storage. It's all just covered under the licensing cost of the plans. So in here, you can search for relevant emails. You can expand the date range. You can manage the individual emails by just dropping the arrow down here. And from in here, you can do things like see information. So you can see the reason why we've classified it the way we have. If you need to do troubleshooting, you can come and find the headers in here. If there's any SMTP information, you'll find that in here as well. And you can do all your troubleshooting from in here rather than trying to deal with it on the 365 side. You can also release emails from here. So that's how you can release from quarantine or release clean emails from the archive in this case. You can report messages as spam, pull mails out of 365 using the delete feature. You've also got the option to run an ATP scan as well. So this is where you can scan an email with an attachment. We'll then run it through a sandbox. And then if I take this malicious one here, me see if I can find an example. Okay, no good examples today, but you can scan the email. What we'll do is we'll sandbox it, run it through a virtual environment, and then give you a really detailed risk assessment of how potentially dangerous we think that attachment is. In terms of managing your domain, you have your allow and deny lists, which are your blacklists and whitelists. So in here, you can come and add to your blacklist any domains, email addresses, IP addresses that you need to block. And then with your allow list, you can bypass the various filters that we have in play. But we have a lot of filters, so you have a lot of options here so that you can be really granular with the kind of traffic that you're letting through. So that's kind of the admin perspective of managing the mail flow. From an end user's perspective, the way that it looks is as we're filtering the mail, we notify the users of the emails that we quarantine through a quarantine report, which is a regular scheduled email report. And so this will show all the users, all the emails that have been sent to them and quarantined. So this is an example of a report. This is our standard template, but if you want to customize it, you can. So you can add your logo at the top. You can add your support information, change the custom text over here, change the color scheme and the sending address as well. But this goes out to your end users, and this will notify them of everything that gets sent to them on quarantine since their last email report came out. So in this email, I've got an example of an info mail. So this is a newsletter. So from here, I can just release the email straight out. Because it's not a dangerous email, I can release that myself as a user. I can also preview the email, which will open it up in a secure link. And then from here, I'll be able to see the email. All of the images are taken out, all of the links are broken, but you can still read the content of the email. And then if you need to, and you have access to, then you can just release the email from up here as well. So as well as the quarantine report, users also have our Total Protection plugin, which is just rolled out into 365 through the onboarding process. And so in here, they can do things like add addresses to their user level allow and deny lists. They can report emails as spam, and they can also access their own archive from here as well. So with the archive search, this will take users into the control panel. Because we're API synced into the 365 control panel, all the user access management is dealt with by 365 single sign-on. So the users will be signed straight into the control panel. You don't need to create separate accounts for them, but they'll be taken into the user panel, which is the end user facing version of the control panel. And so in here, you'll find various modules relevant to the end users. So we have some modules around our security awareness product over here. We have some options in terms of managing mail, but then you also have your email live tracking, which is your own end user view of your mail. So it's filtered by clean, and so this is essentially your own archive. So it means your end users can access their archive and release messages themselves without having to come and request access from admins. So that's the email security side of things. And so from there, you can then get a lot of reporting and analysis through the control panel as well. So we go into our customer here. You'll be able to see we have various reports. So our email statistics are going to measure the amount of different types of emails that we're catching with the filter. You can see that over time. And then you can see a really useful report for admins. This is going to show you your mailboxes in order of hit rate in the last 7 days. So you can get an idea of the mailboxes that are specifically being targeted as well. So as well as that, we have our threat live reporting. So this is going to show you all of the threats in real time. So if I expand the date range out here. So this map is showing me all of the threats that the filter is catching in real time. And then if we scroll down, we can see attempted attacks graphed out over time by attack vector. And so we can see the kind of things that we're catching. So Trojan horse, spyware, ransomware. And so you can get a real idea of your own threat landscape from using these reports. So we've spoken a lot about the email filtering, but we also have our compliance products, our backup as well. And so one of the compliance plan for products that I wanted to show today is our 365 permission manager. And so this is designed to help you manage your SharePoint and OneDrive permissions in a way that you can have full visibility, the kind of visibility that Microsoft doesn't very easily give you. You can make admin changes to permissions, but you can also create compliance policies to attach to your different sites and shares to make sure that the sharing behavior of the users all stays compliant and secure as well. So this is our permission manager here. And so from here, once we've synchronized into 365, we'll be able to see our sites. If I go to explore sites, I can see all of my sites across 365. And so then I can filter these by site type. So I can look at all my team sites. And then just at a glance here for all the sites, we can see some icons here, which will tell us if this site contains any anonymous access, if there's any organization-wide access, and if there are any external guest access links within here. So if we look at the finance SharePoint, for example, we can see that we do have an external guest access link. So we can come in here and explore the site. And so now we can see all the files and folders within the site. We can see the permissions that we have set against the site, and we can see if there are any custom permissions by looking at the asterisks against these folders. So we can go into these folders and see any files with custom permissions that we have here, or we can just filter by custom permissions, and then it will show us everything within the site that has any kind of custom permissions that we should investigate. So this file, for example, if I select this, then I can see a summary of the permissions for that file specifically, and I can see that there is indeed an external user with access to this file. So I can just go ahead and remove the sharing link there, or I can select the file and remove all the sharing links, reset the inheritance, or come and actually set the permissions on the file. So I can see exactly who's got access. I can add, remove users, and change the level of access from in there. So as well as just doing your SharePoint admin on the file and folder level, you can also use our quick actions to do the overall SharePoint admin. So for example, you can do things like copy across user permissions. When you have levers that need to be replaced, you can copy across a user's permissions. You can use this option here to remove access for that user immediately. You can use this to clean up orphaned users as well. And then also, of course, set the site permissions. So if we want to set the permissions on the site, we just select the site that we want to work with. And then again, straight away, we can see everyone that has access, the level of access they have. We can add and remove users, and we can change their access level. Really simple in just a nice step-by-step wizard. So that's your SharePoint admin. You can also generate reports as well. So we can see full site permissions, we can see user and group permissions, and we can see the external access report. So this will show you everything that you currently have shared externally from the business, all those guest access links, anonymous links, just generated in the one report. But you can, of course, just see that in your dashboard view as well. Another filter that we have is the View As option. So if you're ever asked, I need to see everything that a specific user or group has access to, you can just use the filter in here, select the user, filter by that user, and now we can only see the sites and shares that that user has access to. And even in at the file and folder level here, we can see everything this user has access to, which in this case is nothing in this site here. So as well as just a SharePoint admin, you can also monitor the sharing activity and keep it compliant through the use of our compliance policies. So we have 4 stock compliance policies that we provide based off of ISO 27001 compliance. So that's your confidential, internal, public, and restricted. So you can use these, or you can edit these. You can create custom policies. And so if we look at the internal policy, for example, we can see the kind of things that we're looking for. So internal sharing. That's deactivated for the internal policy, so we're not going to alert on that. But then if there's any form of external sharing from that site, then that is going to be in breach of this internal policy. You can also do the site configuration, so you can configure that and carry that across to your actual SharePoint sites. And then there's some team-specific stuff as well in terms of how you handle files that you're sharing across teams. With the policies, there's a few different ways you can use them. So you can just set them to auto remediate, and then any attempt to share something that breaches the policy will automatically be fixed. Or you can attach auditing to the policy as well. And with the auditing, that gives the department heads, people within the organization, the ability to also have visibility on what's being shared, and then have a hand in being able to fix or approve those things as well. So the way it works is if there's a violation that breaches the policy, the site owner is notified. They get an email notification, and that notification will take them into their to-do list. And in the to-do list, you'll see all the violations for all the sites and shares that you're the owner of. So if I was the head of finance, for example, I could see, for example, this file within finance has been shared, and I have the option here to scope straight into the file in SharePoint, see a summary of the permissions on the file, and then I've got the option to either just approve that action, or I can remediate it, and that will go and actually break that share within SharePoint. With the option to give the alerts to the site owners, you can set a grace period against that. So if they don't address these violations within a certain period of time, you can either just auto remediate, or you can cause the site to become non-compliant, in which case an IT admin would generally come in and run a full audit on the site. To audit a site, you can just use the audit option over here. You can see we have our different policies attached, and we can see which ones are in violation. So we want to audit a site, then again, just a step-by-step wizard. It's going to show you all the violations across the site. So in this example, we have one file violating the policy. And then in here, this will give us the option to take action, so we can remediate or approve any violations. And provided we address all of those, finish the audit, then that site will become compliant again. The sites become non-compliant if things are not remediated, but also you can set a recurring audit against a site. So every 3 months, 6 months, or yearly, you can come in, review the permissions. Any of those guest access links that are no longer relevant can be cut off, and it just means that everything stays compliant going forwards as well. So that covers the 365 Permission Manager. So we have some time. So I also want to show you some of the other services that we have in the control panel here. And so we've had a look at the email filtering, but I want to show you the backup product as well. So again, with the backup, you have the option to manage it at a partner level if you're managing the backups for multiple customers, or if you're an end customer or you have customers that want to be self-managed, then you have the option to manage the backups at a customer level as well. So we'll have a look at the example from a partner level. So from here, you'll be able to launch your backup console. So in here, we have our VM backup product and also 365 Total Backup, which is part of the Total Protection plan. So from here, we can launch the backup console. And we can see all of the backups across our customer base in the one dashboard. So with the backups are held in our own data centers. We don't charge for storage and we don't require retention. So you can essentially have a keep forever retention policy, back up as much data as you need to with us, and then we won't delete the data until you physically come and delete it out. So over here, you get an overview of the status of all of your backups. So you can see the protected mailboxes. If you have any backup issues in here, you can see any kind of current actions taking place, any first backups. So you've just got a nice overall dashboard view. To see the backups themselves, you can see your users in here. So you've got your list of customers, and then for each customer, your list of users. And then for each user, we're backing up Mailbox, OneDrive, and Teams chats. And then you have a similar tab for your groups and SharePoint sites, where you can see we're backing up, again, mailboxes, the files, the Teams chats, and the planner items. Above that, we also back up OneNote, and now we have backup for the in-place archive as well. The backups are taken at least once a day. Generally, though, you'll see 2 to 4 snapshots a day, and you're able to refer back to those snapshots at any point in time from the moment that you actually onboard the tenant. So your restore options, you have the option to do granular restores or full restores. So granular restores are for when you need to retrieve just specific files or emails, for example. So from here, you can come in and select your tenant that you want to restore from. If you have a customer, or you are a customer with multiple tenants, you can also do cross-tenant restores as well. So we select our tenant, and then we can choose our restore type. So are we restoring a mailbox, an item from the archive, OneDrive file, SharePoint file, planner, or OneNote? So if we're looking for a OneDrive file, select that option. We can see our OneDrive accounts. And then if we select Bob's OneDrive account, then we can see all the files and folders within that account. So we can just download these straight out now. So these will download out as an encrypted zip file. We can change the date range. So these are all of our recent snapshots here. So we can select one of these, or we can scroll to the bottom, and then we can select any of these snapshots going back to 2021 when we actually onboarded the customer. So I'll just go for a recent snapshot, and then it will show me the files and folders of that snapshot. And so again, I can just download these straight out, or I can use the restore wizard once I've selected a file or a folder. So I'll go for the documents folder, and from here, I can restore this folder either to the same location, so back to the OneDrive account, off to a different OneDrive account, or I can just download the data out with an encrypted zip. So these are your options across the board. So when we're talking about a mailbox, you could restore the mailbox items to the original mailbox or to a new mailbox, or download the data out. And you do have a PST option as well when you're downloading mailboxes. So if I want to send this back to the same OneDrive account, then this is the account we're sending it to. We're going to drop it in a new folder with the restore time and date, and then I can go ahead and restore that. So with your full restores, so this is kind of your disaster recovery situation where you need to fully restore a site or OneDrive mailbox, for example. You can just come in and then similarly just follow the wizard, and then you'll be able to do full data restores as well. So with the backups, you also have daily summary settings, so you can have regular alerts of the statuses of the backups if there are any backup issues as well. So as a partner, you can receive one of these. You can also have specific reports going out to end customers. And of course, as an end customer, you'll have your own alerts and summary settings as well. An added level of security with our 365 backup is the 4i approval requests. So this is a security feature that means that if one of your admin accounts gets compromised, you're not able to do any things like deletion of data, moving data, anything potentially malicious, because you'll need the verification of a second admin as well. Okay, and so that covers the backup product. So I'll just remind you again of the plans and what we have. So we have the plan 1 and plan 2, which are focused all around your email security. So really plan 2 is kind of your ideal area for email security because it brings with it that advanced threat protection option. We have the email encryption options that I mentioned, the signature tool, also the archiving, which is just passive archiving in and out for that default retention of 10 years. And then the continuity service to fall back on as well. We have the 365 backup available as part of Plan 3, also as a standalone service, and our compliance features as well, which we've seen the permission manager. The DMARC manager is our newest product. This is for managing your SPF DKIM DMARC records, and then also receiving DMARC reporting as well. So if there is any unauthorized sending, any potential malicious use of your domain, then you can track that all within the portal. So we are quite ahead of schedule, so I think we'll use the time to have a look at the DMARC manager as well. Also, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to just drop them in the Q&A, and then we'll answer those once we've seen the DMARC manager. So DMARC manager, again, because we're synchronized into the 365 tenant, you'll find all of the domains attached to your 365 tenant within the DMARC manager. And the way that it works is you'll add a redirect to the DNS so that any changes you make to SPF, DKIM, or DMARC settings will just carry across to the DNS without you having to log into the DNS provider and make the changes directly. So in here we can find the domains that we have against the tenant. And so I can edit our primary domain here. And then this is where we do the configuration. So this is all configured with a redirect. So if we view the setup instructions, then it will tell you exactly the record that we need to add to the DNS to make sure that, that any lookups can actually see the settings that we have set. And then if we go back to settings, then we can manage our DMARC policy over here, set our DMARC percentage. When it comes to the reporting as well, we can set the reporting address, alignment settings. So any configuration that you would generally have to do directly in the DNS, you can just do it straight in here. Also SPF as well. So if you need to add SPF records, if you're making use of a lot of marketing tools and things like that that involve having to send out on your behalf, it's much simpler to come in and just add and remove SPFs from the portal in here. So you can also do your DKIM signing with us. You can do BIMI, which is a protocol which allows you to add a logo into your into the mail client attached to your domain, and TLS RPT as well. So once you have the DNS configured, you can have a look at your sending reports, and this is going to give you an idea of where your mail is coming from, who it's being sent by, and whether you have any potential malicious actors trying to spoof your domain, or if you have any kind of marketing tools or anything that you're unaware of sending emails out, and then you have the ability to see in here that these emails aren't actually getting where they need to go if you have your DMARC configured correctly. So we're looking good during this time period. All of the emails are coming out of HornetSecurity. That's as intended. We're filtering the outbound mail, but if we expand the date range out and have a look at January, then we can see in here that most of our traffic is going through email security, but we also have some suspicious traffic coming out of a German ISP. So we've got one IP address in here that sent nine emails on behalf of our domain. Luckily, though, because we have our DMARC configured properly, none of those were delivered. But we can drill down into this and find more information. So we can find the sending IPs, and then we can select those, and then we can see, for example, that these have failed. The reason why they failed is because of a lack of DKIM. And then we can drill down in here and see if there are any security issues that we need to address. Okay, and that is the DMARC Manager tool. Okay, does anybody have any questions?
I don't see any questions.
No? Okay, no problem.
Both the chat and the QA.
And so is there anything else from our portfolio that you would like to see?
Can you say something about the email encryptions?
Yes, yeah, let's have a look at the encryption. So all of the email security settings are managed from the encryption options. Sorry about that. So yeah, all of the email encryption options, everything in terms of email security is managed from your security settings. So email encryption, as I said before, you've got a few different options here. So you can do your certificate encryption, so that's SMIME or PGP. So you can provide your own certificates. If you want to do SMIME encryption, then you can just purchase SMIME certificates directly through us. So you just add an SMIME user, add the address that you want to apply the certificate to. We'll then go and apply that certificate, and then you have the option here to just auto sign and auto encrypt. So as soon as the mail's delivered, it's signed and encrypted. Or you can control the encryption options through your encryption policies. So you can do things, for example, like enforce TLS encryption. If you have compliance needs to always communicate with certain companies through TLS, you can make sure that you're doing that with an encryption rule. With the certificate encryption, you can set this up again to always encrypt when sending to certain recipients, or you can decide to activate with a keyword that you apply in the subject line, or we have a separate plugin, which is just an encrypt button that users can use to select the emails that they want to encrypt. So that's just certificate encryption. And then I mentioned also the web safe encryption is the secure pickup portal, where, again, if you set it up with a keyword or with the encryption plugin, then any email that you send through web safe, the recipient is going to receive an email with a link to say that you have been sent web safe mail, and that will take them into our own web safe portal, which is like a web mailer. And from there, you can read the message, respond to it, and it means that it all stays encrypted within the web safe infrastructure because the email is never actually delivered on to the end user.
Mm-hmm.
So we can go through some of our other email security options, seeing as we have so much time. So in terms of the spam filtering, I've spoken about the engine. This all happens behind the scenes. You also have control using content control to define your attachment policies. So from here, you can do kind of standard attachment policies by defining a max email size, filtering out encrypted attachments, executables, macros, any specific file extensions that you want to block. So you could create a default template which will apply to the whole domain, and you can have different settings against different groups. So if you need to open up Excel macros for the finance department, for example, you can do that without opening up the rest of the domain. We also have a compliance filter. So this is the filter that I mentioned at the start, which gives you the flexibility and the options to create your own bespoke filter rules. So if you have specific needs, something that yourselves or the customer is looking to do, then you can come and build these with these compliance filters. So you can create rules to reject mail or reroute it or tag it for quarantine based off of any of these options here. So you have a lot of different fields. You can also use regex to write these. So you can do things like some examples down here. You can use regex to look for strings of credit card information. So you could create a DLP filter on the outbound to prevent people from sending credit card information out. You can also use a dictionary. So if you wanted to create a content filter of certain words that can't be used in emails, then you can use that with the filter. So yeah, this really gives you a level of flexibility in terms of your filtering. And so these are the advanced threat protection features. So in here, you have the option to activate your ex post deletion, which gives you the ability to pull mails out of 365. So if we alert you that potentially something's been caught as malicious that has already been delivered to multiple people within your tenant, you'll be able to receive one of these real-time alerts by just adding your support information in here. You'll then be able to go into your email live tracking. You can search and filter for those emails and then use the ex post deletion feature to just go and pull those out of 365. Here's our secure links. So it's just a case of activating. We then rewrite the links in the emails so that we can scan them in real time. And then here's your fraud forensics filter that will be catching any display name spoofing attempts by just applying a group. So you can use your 365 group in here. So if you have, for example, your finance group, or if you want to build a specific group of users, you can build that in 365 and then apply that filter to them as well. So we've had a look at the DMARC product. So that is part of Plan 4, but you also have the option to manage your SPF, DKIM, and DMARC through us with the standard filtering options. You don't get the same level of flexibility and reporting, but you can still add our SPF record, you can add our DKIM record, and then you can define how you want to handle SPF checks, DKIM, and DMARC for inbound emails as well. The archiving is quite straightforward. So you just activate, turn it on. We'll then archive everything in and out for that max retention. If you do need to add exceptions, so you have compliance reasons why you can't archive certain mailboxes, or if you have, if you want to drop mailboxes out of the archive or just drop the retention for compliance reasons, then you can do that in here. You can do that at a group level or an individual mailbox level. And the continuity service, this is the web mailer. So again, it's just a case of activating. End users will log into the control panel with their Microsoft single sign-on. They'll be asked to set an emergency password, and then as soon as they've done that, they have access to that continuity mailbox. It won't be live until 365 is actually down, so there's no risk of it being hacked and people getting into emails, because there'll be nothing in there until 365 is down, at which point we then go and drop in 3 months worth of retroactive mails so they can send and receive from there. And then, as I said, once 365 is back up, everything automatically gets moved straight back into 365. And then one thing that we haven't looked at is our signature and disclaimer tool. So this helps you centrally manage signatures and disclaimers because we're filtering inbound and outbound mail. We append the signature on the outbound so that it means wherever you're sending the email from, whether it's from a mobile, from your mail client, it's always going to be applied with a signature and also a disclaimer as well. So if you have certain legal disclaimers, they'll always be applied to any outbound communication that comes through us. So it's just basic HTML when it comes to building your signatures. So you can come in, you can use AD variables here to pull through things like name, job title, etc. You can add your images, links, and banners, create your signature templates. And then once you have your template in here, then you can apply that to either the whole domain, or you can have different templates set against different groups. So if they want to have their own specific templates, then you can create groups for those. Again, you can use your 365 groups. And then you could have your disclaimer set as the default so that everyone has the same uniform disclaimer. There's also a marketing role that comes with that as well. So if you have someone within the organization that would be managing these signatures, you can give them the marketing role. And then when they log in to the control panel, they'll also have access to this, signature tool. Okay, so I think that covers everything that we wanted to show you today. Are there any other questions or anything else specifically that you would like to see?
I think you covered everything in detail. Yeah, I think the plan 1, 2, 3, and 4 cover everything that everyone needs in their 365 environment, regardless of email security and backup and all the compliance and awareness, of course, and managing security aspect of the email of the 365 email and all the tenant of the 365, including the OneDrive, the SharePoint, the Planner, and so on. I want to thank you all for this webinar. We are going to have another session in the following months, and we are going to this webinar is recorded, and we are going to have it on our website and on our YouTube channel, and of course I will share it with you. I want to thank you, HornetSecurity, for joining us and educated us on the product, and that's it from my side.
Yeah, can I just say thank you as well for joining. Obviously, if you could share my contact details with any of the partners that might want to talk to me, then please do so. I'll leave that for you to do. But if anyone does have any questions, or if they want to see a more detailed demonstration, then please do let us know. We would very much like to work more closely with you and your partners.
Perfect.
Sure. Much appreciated, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the demo and all the efforts. It was very informative.
No problem. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.